Welcome to English Shining, the podcast that helps you speak English confidently and naturally. In today's episode, we're diving into the most common mistakes English learners make and how you can fix them fast. Get ready for simple tips.
Today we're looking at something pretty universal for English learners, those common mistakes people make.
Yeah,
Think of this as a way for you to maybe level up your English a bit faster, sound more natural.
exactly. And we've looked at materials that are really focused on helping learners improve. What's interesting is that these aren't, random errors. They're patterns.
Right, things that keep popping up.
And understanding why they pop up is, well, it's half the battle, isn't it? It helps you figure out how to actually fix them.
So our mission today is really to pinpoint these key areas, these pitfalls that you can actually address pretty easily with a bit of focus. Save you some time, maybe some frustration too.
Absolutely. And it's crucial to remember making mistakes. Totally normal. It's how we learn anything new, especially a language. These are like common signposts on the road to fluency.
Yeah, definitely not something to beat yourself up about. They're fixable.
Totally fixable.
Yeah.
With a bit of awareness and practice.
Okay, so let's get into the first one, verb tenses. Always a big one.
Oh, yeah. Foundational stuff. It's like learners often get the basic idea, past, present, future, but then in the moment.
Things get mixed up.
Exactly. The sources we looked at had examples like, yesterday I go to the shop. You've got yesterday clearly past, but then go present tense.
Right. Instead of yesterday I went to the shop. It's that mismatch.
It is. And even when you know the basic past tense, those irregular verbs, they can really trip you up.
Like I have went instead of
I have gone.
Yeah.
That's a classic one.
I think the material had a funny little dialogue about that.
It did, sort of. Mark says, I have went to the cafe, and his friend jokes, wow, you've been busy conquering your to-do list in English grammar.
Huh. Yeah, it kind of highlights how it sounds, doesn't it?
It does. A gentle nudge.
So, okay, beyond just drilling verbalists, what's a good way for you, the listener, to really nail this?
Well, one thing is to really think about the timeline, like actively visualize. Did this happen and it's finished? Past tense, is it happening right now? Present continuous, usually? Or is it future?
So connecting the time in your head to the verb form.
Exactly. And for irregulars, yeah, some memorization helps, but maybe focus on the most common ones first. Go, went, gone, seesaw, seen, ate, eaten. You get the most bang for your buck there.
Makes sense. Start with the frequent flyers. And getting it right really helps clarity, doesn't it? Tells your listener when things happened.
Absolutely. It's like putting up clear signposts in your story. Okay, ready for mistake number 2.
Let's do it. Forgetting the subject.
Ah, yes. This is interesting because, in some languages you can just drop the subject. The verb tells you who's doing it.
But not usually in English.
Nope. English generally insists on having a subject stated. The classic example from the source is saying, is raining.
Instead of.
It is raining. It's raining. You need that it.
Even though the it doesn't really mean anything specific, like a person.
Exactly. It's what linguists sometimes call a dummy subject. It's just there to fill the grammatical slot. Same with there is or there are.
Like, there is a cat on the roof, not just is a cat on the roof.
Precisely. English grammar demands that subject slot be filled.
The source had that funny bit about snow, right?
Oh, yeah. Someone says, snowing hard today. And the friend asks, oh, really? Who's doing the snowing? Jack Frost.
Right. Because without the it sounds like someone must be performing the action.
Leading to the correction. No, it is snowing hard. It just underlines how essential that subject is in English. No ghost subjects allowed.
So the quick fix for you listening is always do a quick check. Who or what is doing the verb? Make sure they're in the sentence.
Yep. Just build that little checking habit.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah. Number 3, prepositions. Those little words like at, on, in, to, for. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy is right. These are notoriously tricky. They often don't translate well one-to-one from other languages.
And the usage can seem kind of random sometimes.
It can feel that way. The source flags common ones like saying, I'm good in English instead of,
I'm good at English.
right, or I'm married with a doctor.
Should be married to a doctor. Those little words make a huge difference in meaning.
They really do. There's another example, quite funny actually. Someone said, I went to the party by my car.
Okay. What's wrong with that? Sounds okay to me.
Well, grammatically, by my car could imply you traveled next to your car or maybe even used it as some sort of tool to get there, not inside it.
Ah.
The listener joked, did you carry your car pieces? the speaker meant, of course.
I went in my car, or I drove my car.
Exactly. It shows how a tiny preposition choice can create a totally different picture.
So how do you get a better handle on these? It's not like there are simple rules for every single one.
Not really simple rules, no. The best approach, according to the source, is focusing on collocations.
Collocations? You mean words that just naturally hang out together?
Yeah, exactly. Like interested in, afraid of, good at, depend on, married to. Learn these pairs or groups together.
So keep a list, maybe. When you hear interested, make a note that in usually follows.
That's a great strategy. Keep a notebook, use flashcards, whatever works for you, and then practice using them. Repetition and seeing them in context is key.
So it's more about learning phrases than individual preposition rules.
Pretty much. Building up that internal database of common pairings. Okay, number 4.
Right. Translating directly from your own language.
The word-for-word trap. It's so natural to do this when you start learning.
Of course. You think in your language and just swap the words.
But English, like any language, has its own way of putting things. Direct translation often sounds, well, unnatural or just wrong.
Like the example, I have 25 years.
Right, which is perfectly logical in many languages, but in English we say,
I am 25 years old, or just, I'm 25.
Exactly. Or another classic, open the light.
Instead of turn on the light?
Yep. The source had a funny story about that, too. Someone asks, can you open the light? And the native speaker says something like, sure, if I can find the hinges.
Huh. Like it's a box or a door.
Right. Because open doesn't collocate with light in that way in English. It highlights how idioms and set phrases just don't translate directly.
So what's the better way? How do you avoid that trap?
The key is to learn chunks of language, whole phrases. How did native speakers actually say it?
So lots of listening, movies, conversations, podcasts, like this one.
Exactly. Pay attention to the full phrases people use, not just single words, and then try using those phrases yourself. Repeat them aloud.
It's about shifting your thinking, isn't it? Thinking in English rather than translating into English.
That's the goal, developing that intuitive feel for what sounds right.
Okay, let's circle back to verbs. Mistake number 5. Overusing the present continuous, the ing form.
Yes. Sometimes learners use that ing when the simple present tense is actually the correct choice.
Like, give us an example.
Like saying, I am knowing the answer.
Instead of, hi.
I know the answer. Or another one, I am having a car.
When you just mean, I have a car, like, you own it.
Exactly. It boils down to this idea of state verbs versus action verbs.
Okay, explain that.
Well, action verbs describe things you do. Activities, processes. Running, eating, working. These often use the continuous tense if they're happening right now. But state verbs describe states of being, thoughts, feelings, senses, possession, things like know, believe, like want, own, have, when it means possess. These usually stick to the simple present.
Okay, so knowing isn't really an action you're doing right now, it's a state you're in.
Precisely. You don't typically say, I am liking this pizza. You say, I like this pizza. The source had a funny dialogue for this, too.
Oh, yeah.
Carlos says, I am having 3 brothers. And his friend asks, oh, are you? Like in the process of getting them right now.
As if he's actively acquiring brothers at that moment.
Exactly. And Carlos clarifies, no, I just have 3 brothers. It shows the difference clearly.
So the quick fix is to learn which common verbs are state verbs. And remember, they usually don't take koshimo ing.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, is this something I do or something I am or feel or possess? That helps guide you.
Got it. Makes your meaning much clearer.
Definitely. Okay, number 6. This one's small but important.
Let's hear it.
Forgetting the little s on the end of verbs in the present simple for he, she, and it.
Ah, the third person singular s.
Ah.
Yes. Very common to miss that one.
Super common. You hear things like, she go to school all the time.
When it should be, she goes to school.
Or my friend work hard.
Needs to be, my friend works hard.
Yeah.
It's just that tiny sound, but grammatically, it's significant in English.
It really is. The source had a cute example with Nina and James. James says, my sister like pizza.
Uh-oh.
And Nina playfully says, your sister, who like pizza, where the ends go, grammar police. And James corrects himself.
My sister likes pizza.
Yeah.
It just highlights that missing rest.
So how do you train yourself to remember it? It seems easy to forget in the flow of speaking.
It is. The source recommends lots of conscious repetition, like make mini sentences part of your daily practice.
Like what?
Just simple ones. He works late, she plays piano, it rains a lot. Say them out loud, over and over. So you develop kind of grammar ears. You start to hear when it sounds wrong without the is.
Exactly. Training your ears. So it starts to feel natural and sound right with the es. Consistent practice is the key.
Makes sense. That little does makes a difference in sounding, well, more polished.
It does. Okay, final one. Number 7.
All right, what is it?
Overusing the words very or really.
Using them as intensifiers all the time, like very good, very tired, very big.
Exactly. They're fine, of course.
Yeah.
But English has such a rich vocabulary with stronger, more precise adjectives. Relying only on very can make your English sound a bit limited.
Or maybe less impactful.
Yeah, that too. The source gives great alternatives. Instead of very hungry,
Starving.
perfect. Instead of very tired,
Exhausted.
very big.
Huge. Enormous. Massive.
See? So many better options. They had more color, more precision.
There was a dialogue for this one too, wasn't there? Something about being bored.
Yeah. Tom says, I'm very, very, very bored. And Emma suggests, how about utterly bored?
Much more descriptive.
And Tom's like, yes, utterly. I've used up all my veries for today. It's just a fun reminder to explore stronger words.
So the takeaway for you, the listener, is actively try to replace very plus adjective with a single, stronger synonym when you can.
Exactly. It boosts your vocabulary and makes your English sound more sophisticated, more nuanced.
Okay, wow, that was a great rundown. So just to recap quickly for everyone, we covered getting verb tenses right,
Remembering the subject.
nailing those tricky prepositions,
Avoiding direct translation traps.
knowing when not to use the continuous ing,
So remembering that third-person singular S.
and finally moving beyond just using very and really all the time.
And the big message through all of this is, it's okay. These are common hurdles. Awareness and practice are your best tools.
Yeah, absolutely. The source had a really nice final tip too, didn't it?
It did, basically.
Yeah.
Celebrate your progress, not perfection. Don't be embarrassed by mistakes. Keep going. Every little step forward counts.
I liked that bit they mentioned, that real moment someone shared. My English is under construction.
Yeah. And the reply was, so is mine on Monday mornings.
It's just relatable, isn't it? Language learning is a journey for everyone. Even native speakers have off days.
Totally. So for you listening, here's maybe the final thought to take away. Start actively listening for these 7 things. In your own speech, when you hear English, notice them.
That awareness really is the first most powerful step, isn't it? Understanding the what and the why behind the mistake. That's how you move towards speaking more confidently and naturally.
Thanks for tuning in to At English Shining. Keep practicing, stay curious, and remember that fluency is a journey, not a race. If you enjoyed this episode, give it a like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's learning English too. See you in the next one.